Talofa faithful, how's it going? It is our Friday night. It's obviously the off season. We've got a few things to go through today. We did have some couple of breaking news things going on. One specifically for the 49ers and one as a league whole. So we're going to get that kicked off. We've got TJ in the background. We've got some people who are already waiting on the stream who are showing up. Thank you very much. We're going to get into this intro and then we will get right back to you and get the show started. Here we go.
And
What's
here
good,
y'all
TJ?
thought, and here y'all
What?
thought y'all were gonna get rid of my ugly mug.
It's the hope. It's the off season.
Eternal.
What's up, brother?
What's up, bro? Hope burns eternal, right? Ultimate report was cracking.
What's up, John J? What's up, John LaJoy? Too many
Jamie's
J's.
actually, yeah, I know, right? Jamie's not going to be with us this evening. She's on assignment. Doing.
Not sure what she's doing.
Yeah, we don't know, but we didn't ask too many questions.
But welcome, anyways.
Yeah.
And to those of you guys who are over on Instagram, how's it going? Thank you for showing up. Instagram people, if you want to see your comment on the screen and be able to interact with everybody, please jump over to YouTube or Facebook, because right now Instagram doesn't let your comments join in. We can just stream to Instagram. So again, if you want to interact, just jump over to YouTube or Facebook, where we are also streaming, and we can definitely, all hang out together.
We'll throw your comments. Yeah, we'll throw your comments up on the screen.
Yep.
I decided so this is for our longtime listeners of NFR, y'all will remember this shirt. But I decided this is my first ever NFR shirt. Back when we were on Radio AFS. That's why it's Blog Talk.
Way before I was part of the show.
Yeah, way before. I don't even think you had started listening. I wasn't literally. Our show was only on Blog Talk, so I done YouTube.
Yeah,
yet.
I don't think. I don't think I even knew you guys yet.
So
it's a drinking show. What you drinking?
Actually, bro, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I just got a Gatorade.
Well,
I didn't make.
Since we're going soft this week, I'm channeling my inner college white girl, and I'm going with White Claws. The
there you go.
The mango. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. No, I didn't make myself a drink.
I didn't feel like busting out the whiskey and everything else I've got here. I bought this for the Super Bowl for a bunch of people, and then like nobody drank it, so I've got like 40 of these I got to get through. Yeah. Hey man, we got a CarCast. Dolo, enjoy time with the family, my dude. It's all good, brother.
Yeah. No. Appreciate it. Oh, speaking of supporting the show, if you like our content, make sure read the ticker. I worked hard to literally, as we were going on air, I was working on making hard to bring the new logo from Power Brand Systems. Big shout out to Power Brand Systems. Thank you for sponsoring the show. So now we have the ticker. You can, of course, support the show by going to the link that is going through the ticker. Also, we have a free portal that you can now join where you can interact with Jason and I and everybody that we're going to invite, which is pretty much going to be everybody, but probably mostly Jason and I. Mostly Jason, actually, that everybody will be interacting.
And we got a tip jar, which I did post in all of the states right now.
I was just literally going to say, and also we have our tip jar now. Speaking of CG, actually, I don't know what's going on with that. Actually, we'll talk to you later about something. But anyway, so we got some DC news to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, Jason. Let's get cracking.
Yep. All right. So let me pull it up. Oh, wrong button. Oh, why can't I do this tonight? All right. So as you guys know, I am pushing the whole redesign, rebuild, and reclaim thing here for 49ers because we obviously something's missing, and I think a lot of it we can all agree on for the most part what the issues are. What up, BC? Thank you for showing up.
Okay, BC.
So we just need a slight redesign on the team. Then we need to rebuild the team. That way we can reclaim our throne as the best in the NFL. Because I don't know about any of you guys. I'm tired of this coming in second bullshit. Because as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, second place is the first loser.
Or last to lose, I would think about it. You know, I'll never
take your pick.
Yeah, I'll never, ever, you know, yeah. Anyway, I actually got into it with not got into it, but we had call me Batman, nigga. I ain't ever calling you Batman. Um,
You two should go
so
trick or treating together as Batman one year.
for real, right?
I know you guys did the show as Batman on Halloween, but you guys need to actually go trick or treating or something. That would be funny as hell.
I hope we're still doing this show in 7 years so we could do that again. That was kind of fun.
It's the 31st this year. The 31st. Oh, it's a Thursday. Damn it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was Tuesday last year.
You gonna push buttons tonight or me?
I'll do the buttons tonight, bro.
All right. We got Mr. McNiner in the house, and his theme song.
Yeah. So
David?
yeah, I totally agree with you. We're gonna, of course, get to that, bro. You know that we're gonna get.
You guys the best or a piece of shit? Yeah, like literally like we had just said. Second place is the first loser, and I'm tired of being that shit.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Let's be real, bro. We can officially say this. It'll be 30 years. 30 years.
Sucks.
Half the Super Bowls, bro. Literally, we have not won a Super Bowl in half the Super Bowls. I've been really, really fantasizing, Jason. Like I kind of, had been bouncing around with like, the I'm all about the fact of history, and no NFC teams lost the Super Bowl and came back the next year and won it. So I don't want to punt on the 2024 season, especially before we've even played a game. But I ever since you looked at me, we're like, how about being the first to 7 in our stadium? My mind's just so focused on that, bro. That re-energized me so much. Thinking about the idea of being able to be the first team to 7 championships.
And it's not. It's not like we're far away. We're not the Panthers.
I don't believe so.
You know what I mean? It's just part of it. Obviously, has to do with Kyle, but that's a completely different story. We'll deal with that on a different show, kind of a thing. But a lot of it is with the players. It's kind of obvious what our weak points are. I think for the most part, we can all agree the offensive line, especially the right side, definitely needs to be attentive to this offseason. So, at the same time, you're here for the hat.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Randy. You're here for the hat.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're here for the hat. Hey, look, ain't nobody telling us that we're about to jump ship and go be Chiefs fans or anything. Look, bro, this is a lifelong membership. And you're here for the journey and everything like that. And look, at the end of the day, things like last year, like when Jason comes into the airport, to get ready for the parade last year, what the fuck do you think the first thing I'm gonna do is? I fucking told you you'd be here, baby. And shit like that. Like, seasons like last year are the reason that it tastes so good that you see grown men cry and all that other type of shit. I mean, I'm with that.
Always.
But eventually you would think it's got to end. Like, look, I'm not trying to be 80 years old on my deathbed, the next time.
I don't want to cheer like, yay! I don't.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like I die 5 minutes after we win type of shit,
Yeah, I don't want to have a heart attack because I'm so old and through excitement I just keel over kind of the shit. It could happen.
I would
Kind
like
of
to.
petty.
I would like to live to at least see, since I'm being a season ticket holder, and I would assume that I'm going to remain a season ticket holder. I'd like to live long enough to at least see the sixth banner raised up into the rafters
and enjoy it. You don't want to be like we talk about.
Yeah.
You don't want to be at the age to where you don't want to enjoy it. Like, yes, I remember the last Super Bowl. I was 16. I was in Japan. I could tell you where I was. Blah blah blah. But I don't think I would. The enjoyment I would get out of our next, because I'm here. Jesus Christ, Randy. I could I can fly down. I can afford to do that kind of stuff. So I don't think I would. I won't fully enjoy it as much as I.
How
did
shitty
before.
would that be? Our last two championships, either way, I couldn't really enjoy it. I was 8. I couldn't really enjoy it. Let me be 88 and couldn't really enjoy it. But yeah, so and what makes me exciting the most is let's be real. I don't see this team collapsing because this isn't the Harbaugh team. If say whatever you want about each individual player and compare the teams and the coaches and all that type of shit, the one thing I will definitely 1,000% give to this to the Kyle Shanahan era teams over the Harbaugh teams, I think there's more character in this locker room than in the Harbaugh years.
Oh, not only that, but there's a lot more discipline.
Yeah.
Those Harbaugh years were very wild and crazy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Harbaugh years was that dorm frat where it was just a party every night. That's kind of what that team felt like. This team, while they do go out and party and do some, like with the Cabo crew and all that kind of stuff, a little bit more buttoned down, a little bit more stuff like this. Randy, you're right. Japan is fucking awesome. I lived there for 10 years, from 8 years old till I was 18. My parents had to kicking and screaming back to the U.S. I did not want to move back to the States. So that's definitely something that, the two differences on there. So pull up this and we will move on.
Randy, we'll get to that. Like, I don't even want to think about the 53 right now, bro. We've got months to discuss the 53, bro.
Yeah. For the transactions, obviously, this is one that happened. I want to say it was about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Anybody really surprised we released Isaiah Oliver? I mean, he was almost, the Steve Wilkes, picked man to come in to play. So it's not surprising that he was released. It does save us $2.4 million in cap space, which is another thing that got released today as well. Definitely somebody who, while at times he looked serviceable, also for the majority of the time looked absolutely terrible out there.
I would say he was more of a liability than he was very Josh Norman-ish. Where we all know what I mean by that is we all know the PI penalties and everything like that, but who led the NFL in forced fumbles in 2021?
Yeah, it was him. It was Josh.
Josh Norman.
Yeah.
So
Josh Norman was so much you either get hero or villain. There was no in between, and you might have got him on back-to-back plays.
Shit,
you know what I mean?
You might have got it on the same play.
Yeah, true, right? He got a pick, but he pushed off to get it or some shit like that. Man, he was, oh man. But like I said, nothing personal, but kind of glad to see him go.
Yeah.
I think the other guys that we had behind him, specifically like Logan Ryan, you can argue the same thing we said about Isaiah Oliver, to where at times he looked good and at times he looked bad. You can say the same thing about Ambry Thomas, who I'm going to guess is probably going to be someone else on that list.
Yeah, I would say I think they're going to keep him throughout the offseason. But he's definitely I don't know if they keep on switching back and forth between the gradual cut days and the do it all at once or the gradual.
I like the gradual because it gives more time for position battles and evaluation and all that kind of stuff. I don't like
that. Well, that and also it gives you the opportunity to allow people to get other jobs.
That too, yeah.
Give them a chance to really make an impact. Look, I'm not saying that we needed to move on. There is an upgrade out there. I know that Jason's going to pull up a slide. I didn't necessarily give you mine, but I think there's an upgrade in free agency and sure contract wise, and we would have to break down the numbers. But there's somebody in free agency I would damn sure rather see than
This is a point that I think I've talked about before on our shows, to where my biggest issue with Steve Wilkes isn't that he's a bad coach. It's that his philosophy on defense compared to how our team is built um, was completely oil and water. Steve Wilkes, if he built a team from scratch, he would have built it DBs forward. Our team is obviously built D line forward, and because of that, it's not necessarily that he's a bad coach, but his style and philosophy on coaching went against how this team is built and the identity, which is why you saw some of the guys complain about his play calls. They want like Bosa and Fred. They're like, wait a minute, why am I being held back or stuff like this when we're supposed to, my play style is this, and now you're asking me to do something that I'm not good at. And so I think it just didn't work out. Even if we won the Super Bowl, I don't think Wilkes is back, even if we win it.
If anything, even if Kyle just said, how could I fire my DC, who, let's be real, if we won the Super Bowl, it was probably going to look more like the first half than the second half, right?
Yeah.
Especially after that, if we put that type of defensive performance together for 4 quarters, although I have came on the record and said I do not believe this was a Super Bowl decision, I think this decision might have been made over the bye week.
Yeah.
Type of situation. I'm curious because I don't think that this Kyle tried to make it. Oh, I made this. If Kyle made this decision just a couple of days over the Super Bowl, I'm a little concerned about that.
And I will agree with Randy on this one too. He was brought in for those big tight ends, aka someone like Travis Kelce, or big wide receivers like DK Metcalf and stuff like that. But how often did we see him on those players? So again, that goes to the whole "what are we doing with him?" philosophy.
So Randy's comment basically is more of the reason why I believe Steve Wilkes ain't here. More than what happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All the good tackle I used. I mean,
I don't think we have a cornerback problem, like a lot of people seem to think we do.
I don't think that we see defensively. So let me ask you this, Jason. Do you feel that now, obviously, we're not going to essentially run it back? There are going to be some changes to this football team. But do you think you run it? Would you rather run it back and say, hey, the core of this defense, that the big, even, impact backups, i.e., Chase Young or whoever, we're going to run it back, get a better scheme fit that basically this defense was built to run? Do you think it's that, or do you think there are significant spots on the roster defensively that need to be addressed?
If we were to change the scheme back to what it was and had a coach who did that, I would run it back.
I would run it back
because you saw at times when we played like we have the last 3 or 4 years, it was still there. This defense was still one of the best in the league. You know what I mean? So, I would run it back.
I would run it back just because the core of this football team, the back of Javon Hargrave's football card said he's going to have a better year.
He didn't have a bad year. I know we were all looking for 12, 15 sacks or whatever because that's what he did.
He didn't have the stats. But I'm just saying,
his impact was still there.
The impact was there. But I feel, and I'm a little nervous about paying Eric Armstead what we're paying him for 9-10 games a year.
Yeah.
But I've seen the core of this defense, or the players that I haven't seen perform to that level. The back of their football cards say that we should be a damn good defense. So I think, I think we're people who want to defend Wilkes or wanted to more say he wasn't the issue, always pointed to Wilkes ain't coaching the missed tackles. And I agree. Look, you and I were both very critical of Fred Warner's tackling this year.
Yeah,
and
getting some people pretty pissed off at us.
Yeah, and it pained me. It pained me to say that.
How's it, Kenny? How you doing, brother? Thank you for showing up.
Because, look, truthfully, honestly, who's a better player? Nick Bosa. But who am I a bigger fan of? I'm a bigger fan of Fred Warner, bro. Like, I love Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa changed this franchise. Nick Bosa is a lifelong learner. But who I think sets the culture of the defense, who is the Ronnie Lott of the defense, is Fred Warner.
Yeah, I'd say the Ronnie Lott is Greenlaw, but potato to potato kind of thing.
Or I say Patrick Willis. I would say Fred Warner would ideally love to model his game after Patrick Willis, and Drake Greenlaw too. I think both of them would love to say that they could play with Bo and Willis.
Hall of Famer Patrick Willis, by the way.
Yes. By the way, let me correct myself. Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. It needs to be said correctly.
Put some respect on the man's name.
Put respect on the man's name.
And the Hall of Fame is still a sham until Roger Craig gets in.
I'm look, bro. I'm done. This really tours me, especially. Let's be real. I didn't think Patrick was going to get in.
I thought he was going to take a few more years, and it was going to have to be on a down year for him to get in because
who else are we going to put in? Yeah. I thought ultimately the lack of longevity and the fact that a lot of his career was played on bad Niner teams.
Yep.
I think that was going to be ultimate. The one thing I believe that will really truly get the faithful to riot, and I'm curious to see what happens if it does happen, is if Frank Gore doesn't go in the Hall. Like if Frank Gore ain't there by year 3 of eligibility, I don't think we're going to have that.
I don't think you're going to have that issue with Frank. I really don't.
I don't think he gets in first year. I don't think he gets in first year, but he's got to get in year 2. Like, what was the year? We figured it out. I believe it was 2025.
I thought it was 27.
27? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was 27 when he's eligible.
The only way I could see it being a first year if his eligibility was Super Bowl 60. So you could essentially chop out Frank Gore at Levi Stadium in front of the faithful, at Super Bowl 60. But yeah, no surprise. Give me that 2.4. As soon as we get to the cap, I have our official updated cap. Akash, I can't say his last name.
Well, there we go. There we also announced today was the NFL salary cap for next season. $255.4 million.
Biggest jump in salary cap history.
Yeah, I think most people. I think we talked about it. It was going to be like 230, maybe 240, and then they just jumped it up to this. I mean, what was it that you told me before? All 32 teams is $8.
It's 8.1 something billion.
$8 billion. Anybody who tells you that the NFL is going to crash anytime soon is stupid. The NFL racks in money like nothing. I know soccer across the world is obviously the biggest
global.
Sport. I don't think anybody would be stupid enough to actually argue that the popularity of soccer of the NFL worldwide is not even close. But the amount of money the NFL brings in, it's not even close to anybody else.
You know what it is? You know why I think soccer will always remain the most popular sport in the world? Because literally you need a ball and a trash can.
Yeah, it's a very simple, and it's a simple
You
sport
can
to
go,
play,
yeah.
and it's
You can
cheap.
go mimic the way the pros play with the ball in the trash can.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
need
you
2
can't
trees.
play real true football. Like let's be real, football costs a little money. Pads, helmet, and so that's why I think it is. Like, you can play soccer in a dirt field in Africa.
Hmm.
You
With a
know,
coconut.
you can't with the
You know what I mean?
coconut. You know
That's
what I'm
all it
saying?
takes. You just need
Exactly.
something roundish to kick, and you got a soccer ball.
So updated cap information. Obviously, we know 255.4 billion. This is, of course, to Akash Anatharathan via him. Niners adjusted, so we carried over 36.4 million. Niners adjusted salary cap 291.8 million. Top 51 spending 283.3 million. So that's how much we're going to carry on throughout the offseason. Niners dead money 7.6 million. The 49ers are about 8K in total cap space. They're now under the salary cap. The 49ers should free up additional cap space with adjustment. So basically, Niners cap projects that incentives likely to be unearned incentives that will hit this year's cap will be about 3.5. So we have about 4.5 mil in cap space pre restructures that are going to come at some point this year.
I think that this makes a good point that I'm not really worried about the re-signing of Brandon Ayuk. Coming in from
No.
Canada, Mr. Hicks, Mr. T, how's it going, my brother? Thank you for showing up. Maybe we should play
Thank
some
you, bro.
league
Appreciate
later
you.
on if you are still on afterwards, Travis. Get at me.
Yeah, so when we look at this and you look at the total liabilities that we have, Dave Lombardi does a real look. I'm gonna admit I've kind of transitioned to a chunk of my podcast listening is done over the off season. But Dave Lombardi, I believe what he does best is off-season stuff, salary cap, 53-man roster, and really looking
What's
at
the
the
word they use for
philosophy
him? Spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet. His
Yeah,
spreadsheet's amazing.
his spreadsheet is amazing, and just how he breaks it the offseason and the philosophy of the Niners and removing the emotionness of it and saying, hey, this is how he basically says next year is going to be the year that you're probably going to see some big changes to this roster.
Because we have the money now.
Yeah, we have the money now, and B, let's be real. There's going to be a quarterback contract that's done next offseason. That's
Are we talking about Dak?
No, I was talking about Brock after next season.
Oh, I thought you were talking about because
no,
they're talking about Dak this offseason making upwards of like 60 mil a year. Like Dak Prescott, who arguably you could argue is not a top 10 quarterback. I think he's top 10, but you could almost argue he's not. And he's going to make, and they're talking about his salary
is
60 mil.
Is Dak a top 10 quarterback because he's a top 10 quarterback, or is Dak a top 10 quarterback because there's not 10 quarterbacks better than him? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this.
It's a lack
Dak,
of top
when he's on point, when Dak is on point, he is a good quarterback.
You know what a football coach told me once? I always go back to this. He goes, you know the difference between Tom Brady and Blaine Gabbert? Consistency.
Skill.
Well, like when you break down like people beyond Patrick Mahomes, who's like, dude, you just can do shit that no other human can be. But you're just you're average, not 6'9", 2, can run like just your
yeah.
Typical core is consistency.
Yeah.
Most quarterbacks can make all the throws. Most quarterbacks can, can you do it gets over and over and over and do it when your arm hurts and do it when you're tired and do it. It's the consistency that separates them.
Who was
So
Mr.
Dak,
Inconsistency on this team?
who's Mr.
Jimmy
Inconsistency?
Jimmy G.
Yep. That I bet you. I somewhat believe, Kyle, that if you said now the way things outturn, do I believe that Kyle still would have believed Brock was the best quarterback if, let's say, somehow things unfold out the way that they do? Jimmy, we don't necessarily get Trey, but we take Brock to be our backup to Jimmy or whatever like that. I believe that Kyle still comes to the evaluation that Brock is the best quarterback under the roster. But if Jimmy is healthy, I believe, Kyle, when we say Jimmy's health was a main factor on why he believes. Because think about it. Kyle said, what year since 2019, what has either been the reason or what year have we not made it to the championship? 2020, which what?
Yeah.
Jimmy
When
missed,
everybody was
what was
hurt.
it, 8 games? 8 games. Fine, you could argue about championship, but I believe the Niners believe Jimmy stays healthy, that we at least make a playoff push that year. And once you get in the playoffs, who knows? And then 2021, you could say Jaworski drop hit or what? Jimmy's injuries.
Yeah.
Ultimately, 2022, you could say if Brock wasn't Brock, what would it have been? Jimmy getting hurt.
Yeah.
If Brock wasn't Brock, and by the luck of God, we actually upgraded by Jimmy getting hurt, the thing that would have ruined 2022 was Jimmy getting hurt. We were there, bruh. We were walking in the stadium.
So Brock at some point was going to get his shot no matter what. Like I said, if we hadn't gotten Trey and done all that, we still get Mr. Relevant. Okay. Well, guess what? He's still going to get his shot, more than likely.
Yeah, because Jimmy gets hurt.
Yeah. I mean, depending on who we would have had as a backup quarterback, maybe, who knows what.
And I think it's worse. Because you could Wally Pip Jimmy, the way that it happened because of Jimmy's injuries. But if Jimmy's not hurt and you say, hey, this is a man that Lord knows what happens at 21 or 22. But it's a lot harder to bring in Mr. Relevant after 8 games. Let's be real. It was a lot easier for Kyle to do what he did because it was clear that Brock was better than Trey.
Yeah.
Right? It was clear. Shit. If you really believe what everybody said, it was clear to Kyle in training camp Brock was better than Trey.
Yeah, it's like as soon as he stood on the field, we knew who was better. How's it, Mr. Corona? Thank you for showing up, my brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. So, anyway, this is where it starts to get interesting because I would listen to Lombardi because Lombardi's going to tell you who, and he's pretty spot on who's going to get restructures and who's not going to get restructured and who has already been restructured.
Who do you think is the first candidate? Who's the first person to get announced gets a restructure?
I think BA's contract gets announced before a restructure. But first,
I think we move some money around before we do that.
Juice.
That's who I'm thinking. Juice. Yep, I'm thinking it's going to be Juice that gets restructured first.
Make his cap hit a little less. Extend out.
Extend it out. Yep. Extend it out 2-3 years, kind of thing. Back in some of that money.
Yeah, and
maybe Hargraves. I don't know. Can you extend his?
Yeah, I would believe so. After 1 year,
maybe Kittle. Kittle probably needs
Kittle got it last year.
You can do it again.
So do it again.
Fuck. That's how Tom Brady and the Patriots stayed good. He fucking extended to restructure his. Every year he was redoing that shit.
I'd be curious. I'd be curious behind closed doors how they really, not how they feel about George, because I think that they would all get tattoos of him. But Kyle's made it very clear that it's not a how much we love players. Like, let's be real. You think that they wouldn't want to keep? In what world do you not keep DeForest Buckner over? You keep Eric Armstead over DeForest Buckner. In what fucking world do you do that, Jason? But I'm curious to see when it says, "Hey, if we extend George or we keep George beyond this year, whatever year X, right? We have to use player X, Y, and Z." And just a simple math of, because it was very clear. We would have lost Eric Armstead, we would have lost Jimmy Ward, and I forget the other player we would have lost if we would have signed Defoe.
Yep.
At what point does George Kittle turn into, do we keep George Kittle and lose? Like, it's been very, okay, George Kittle or Daniel Brunskill. You're going to keep George Kittle.
Yeah.
But, like, what if it comes down to George Kittle or Trent Williams?
George Kittle or Brock Purdy.
George or Brock Purdy.
Caesar, how you doing, my brother? Thank you for showing up, my dude.
Caesar, good to see you, baby. George or CMC?
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of shit you have to start asking yourself.
And that's what I think is coming in 2025. And that's what scares me. Is people, it's weird because I feel conflicted. Because if you ask me the Niners Super Bowl window, I tell you, why the fuck open, bruh?
Oh, it still hasn't closed. I don't think it's, if you get people to extend contracts and all that kind of stuff, this window is still going to be open for another 2-3 years, if not longer, depending on how you draft.
I believe if you got Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, and Brock Purdy, and some version of BA, CMC, some type of great offensive weaponry.
Yeah.
I think the window is wide open. Now, now with this core, with what we've known, what the faces we've attached to the Niners with the Kyle Shanahan era, that's when I start to say, okay, how long is that window? How long is Debo on this team?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is this the last year we have an opportunity to make Debo a Super Bowl champion with the Niners?
Yeah.
Fred, I believe Fred's contract's done after this year, I believe, this year or next year.
Yeah, but Fred's not going anywhere. Let's be honest.
No. He's him, Nick Bosa, and I would probably say Trent until he wants to retire.
Yeah, Trent's on the I'm gonna play until I want to, not necessarily my contract. He's just,
I mean, knock on wood, like it is possible. Mother Nature is undefeated,
Well, yeah, at some point she's gonna win.
Maybe you know what? I was just about to say, you know what I think happens? If Demo can make a significant step and his trajectory goes up, I think Charvarius Ward's expendable.
I don't, because with the league being such a pass-heavy league, I don't think you give up a 1-2 punch with Ward and Demo. Right now, I think we have a top 5 cornerback tandem for starters. It drops off when it comes to nickel, third, fourth, fifth receiver. I think there's a huge drop off. But I think as far as number 1 and number 2 corner, we have a top 5 corner tandem right now. So I think
because let's be real,
keep those two guys locked down.
When you talk about what lost us the Super Bowl, I don't believe it was the secondary as far as what's their main job recovering this. I don't think. Let's be real. The Chiefs receivers didn't kill us. What killed us was Pacheco, Travis Kelce, and then Patrick Mahomes on 4th and 1. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are essentially what killed their defense. So what would you attribute that to? Somewhat the D-line and Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, and what? Dre Greenlaw popping his Achilles.
Yeah. Their third and fourth option is where they beat us at.
Yeah. Defensively, where we lost the Super Bowl was Dre Greenlaw popping his Achilles.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think we talk enough about the emotional letdown after that. Yes, I know we can talk about how much, Kelce blew up after that, how they were going after Burks, blah, blah, blah. But let's not talk about, again, we've talked about how we saw that video with Fred. Fred wasn't the only one having those same emotions. And say what you want.
No.
Emotions, when you have them that much, they have a drain on your body no matter what.
Yeah.
When you're that happy or that sad, You ever notice you get tired? That's because all that adrenaline and everything in your body gets used up, and then you get tired. There's
Also,
nothing.
what
So there
happened is
was a drain on that.
Oren Burks went from what playing 10, 15 snaps that game
Yeah,
to all of a
to
sudden
playing
playing
all.
what 80? You know what I'm saying? That's the effect. That's the effect that you feel also. But no, I mean, if you listen to, I didn't listen to the clip, but apparently the clips from the the mic'd up from the Super Bowl is as Patrick Mahomes going to the offense saying, guys, we got to match their intensity, pick up the intensity. What he's talking about is Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah,
that's who he was talking. He said that's who he was talking about.
that's why
And
when you
you
said
not,
earlier about the Ronnie Lott, I see that as Greenlaw because he's the quote unquote enforcer of this defense.
yeah.
The leader is definitely.
And that's what I was talking about with Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
Play style is Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
Emotional. I set the tone. The defense runs through me. I'm the captain of the it's Fred Warner. All right, next one.
Then move on. All right. So what we have here is a listing of former 49ers who are out there on the market right now, available to come back to the team. Obviously, we all want Josh Johnson back. That's without a doubt, right?
Yeah,
To be honest, I think I'd take Josh Johnson over Sam Darnold, but that is a whole other conversation. To me, there's two that stand out: Aziz and Trent Brown. Like you had said earlier, yes, I understand we did have the chance to re-sign Trent Brown back in 2017, but we didn't. We probably thought we could go cheap, spend some money elsewhere. Well, I think we've noticed over the last couple of years
drafting Mike McGlinchey literally the months after Trent, we let Trent Brown walk in free agency.
I still think Trent Brown's a better tackle. Now, that is not to say that there isn't other tackles out there available in free agency. These are just the 49ers. Jim Everett the Great, how you doing, my man? Thank you very much. Look at him with pointing there.
The 94 tape.
TJ, I don't know if you know who Jim is.
No, I don't.
Jim's actually good people. A little bit of a troll. Obviously a Ram fan. He likes to troll us with all the Ram stuff. He's good people.
Awesome.
But thank you. Thank you for showing up to the show. I think with... Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
I mean, you doubt that I was going to do that, bro?
Yeah. With Greenlaw not being back next year, let's be honest, I don't foresee Greenlaw playing next year. Even if we make it to the Super Bowl, I don't think Greenlaw comes back next year. And with an Achilles tear, I think at best right now, because of his, again, this goes back to his play style, not necessarily his skill or anything. I don't know if we get Dre Greenlaw back like we know Dre Greenlaw, which is why I think in free agency, we need to go hard after Aziz Al-Shahir. Now, we also do have Winters, who I think does have good promise, but we also don't know about that with him as a starter right now. What do I know about Aziz? He's a damn good player. Right now, we can plug him back into that spot, and we're ready to go again.
I mean, a thought came in my head. And Jason, doing the show for me, watching the show in the 2019 season, I'm a huge Dre Greenlaw fan.
Yeah.
I love big play.
I
want to get a fucking Dre Greenlaw white throwback jersey so fucking bad for what, like, you've heard me go in my rants about how he's a
yeah. I know you like some Dre Greenlaw.
I love some Dre Greenlaw. Is the last play that we're ever going to see Dre Greenlaw on the field is him popping his Achilles in the Super Bowl.
And it's not even a play.
And is that the last image we get of Dre Green, who's been a great Niner?
Yes.
Like, the Eagles have essentially came out, that whole Sirianni thing destroyed their season. Like, that's going to go
their head so badly.
Oh, my God, bro. Like, that's just, look, now we could talk about this. That kind of was our Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie. Like we talked about how it wasn't and all that, during the time. But look, I don't respect a team that has not beat me in the regular season since, like, fuck, bruh. You know what I'm saying? When we had actual starters on the field. Like, okay, like, anyway. That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. It really does. Because
That
Dre,
almost hurts worse than
deserved to go
losing the
better
Super
out.
Bowl. Obviously, I mean, seeing how Dre, it's not like he was going for a tackle to make, the game-saving tackle. The man was just getting onto the field
What was he doing?
to play.
He was giving us that intensity, bringing that intensity that
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes was talking about matching. That's
Yeah,
what he was doing. And it literally cost him maybe his Niner career.
Yeah,
That
it's
breaks
like
my heart.
possibly everything.
That breaks my heart. Now, removing my emotions and bringing it back to, you got to move on ness of it. Is it malpractice to not go after Aziz? Money wise, like, pipe dream, money. I understand salary cap. I do not see as being big free agents. I think basically season 8, episode 1 of season 8, I think it's good of us being talking about, bringing back Chase Young or bringing back, Cleveland Farrell. I don't think we're going to have the excitement of, we got Javon Hargrave. We're not going to have that this year, which I'm okay with.
I don't know.
Look, they always seem to pull miracles out of their ass and find.
Lynch can do some stuff.
I do not know how the fuck we ended up signing Javon Hargrave and Nick Bosa in the same offseason. Like,
yeah,
that's fucking mind-blowing in itself. But Aziz is obviously the pipe dream, fit right in, plug and play, nose assist, all that. Yeah, I almost think that if it's possible, money-wise, it's malpractice not to bring him back. I'm good off of
the reason why you don't go ahead.
I'm good. Or okay, we're gonna do individual. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, I think the only way you don't go after Aziz like really hard is if you are just that sure that D Winters is him, and that he's going to be the next in line to be that great 49ers linebacker. Because right now we've got a nice,
how could we know that, bro? How could you know that in March?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but we don't know what's going on in practice. He's got rave reviews from.
True.
Practice.
We don't. But so you didn't bring out D when Oren Burks, God bless him, was getting torched, and it was costing you the Super Bowl. D Winters, who's had just an amazing enough season that he's ready to be a starter this year, wasn't an option.
Like, was he active for the Super Bowl?
You know what? That might be. Yeah.
I'm looking up to see if he was or not.
I want to say he did play some snaps.
I don't remember off the top of my head. That's what I'm trying to look at.
Yeah. I want to say I've seen him play some snaps because I believe at one point Oren Burks went down.
Okay, he was active.
I want to say so. But yeah, I mean, awesome, cool. But no, I mean, I don't think that you don't pick up. It's malpractice not to at least see that if it's a possibility. Now, if it's going to cost us, shit. If it's going to cost us, would you rather have him or Cleveland Farrell? I'd choose Aziz over Chase Young. But would you choose Cleveland Farrell or Aziz? Because I think Cleveland Farrell is going to be critical to run defense. I'm not assuming he's some great pass.
See, now you're talking
or everything like that. But
yeah, that's a Cleveland Farrell or Aziz.
That's the decision you might have to make, Jason.
Aziz. I'm going to say Aziz simply because this defense runs through its linebackers. We need, at the minimum, 2 solid linebackers who we are, okay, you know what, Fred, and whoever is by your side, do your thing. We're not going to sweat it. Can you say that necessarily with D Winters right now? Now, I think he's got good potential, but obviously, we don't know game-wise. If you put Aziz next to Fred, are you confident in them two running this defense just as good as it did the last few years without him?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it. Let's be real. We just went in the whole thing about how we all love Dre Greenlaw and everything like that. Act like we haven't. The man hasn't missed games, and we had to see how these start games. Like
Yeah.
like
Fill in
I've
that role
seen.
just to begin with.
I've seen the battery combination of Dre Greenlaw and Al Shair work.
There's little to no drop off.
No, and
It's
ultimately,
just
I think that was hugely missed this year.
yeah. Quan Alexander. Now
No, love
there's
him.
going to be two. Yeah, don't get me wrong. The enthusiasm and the energy that Quan brings to a team is probably unparalleled for anybody else. That said, Fred Warner is not Fred Warner if it wasn't for him being under the tutelage of Quan Alexander. I think that's without a doubt. The way Fred is because of Quan.
Yeah.
That said, Quan has pretty much been injured every single year
He's a
since he's been this. Yeah, he is a huge liability. So are we out on Quan?
Yeah, we're out. Love him. Y'all know why I say legendary. I don't got to go to the speech of why I say legendary. When I met the man at 2019 at training camp, I said, you will be the heart and soul of this defense.
And he was.
And he was. And still, one of the most amazing things I've ever seen as a man is that man coming back from his torn pec, for the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's literally one of the thing that I love the most.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he doesn't have those injuries. Him and Fred
probably win the Super Bowl, bruh.
Well, no, I'm saying like him and Fred are probably what Fred and Dre are. Dre probably doesn't get that, or
that's what the Niners
don't get that position.
What we saw with Dre, what we envisioned Dre and Fred to be, or what they are, is what we envisioned when we signed Quan Alexander. Let's be real. Quan Alexander was signed to fix the Reuben Foster fuck up.
Yeah, and he did for that season. He did, fix it.
Or at least half the season until he tore his pec, and then But
so unfortunately,
this one's gonna pay me. The next one's gonna pay me to talk about because I'm gonna hate the answer.
You ain't the only one because Kendrick Bourne, my dude is
my spirit
part Samoan. It hurts me to say no. It hurts me to say no to my Islander people.
Yes,
But I think whatever money you throw at Kendrick Bourne, you throw at Jauan Jennings because he is
I was just about to say
a better version of him in every single way. And ouch, that hurts.
That hurts so bad, bro, because I love me some KB.
Yep.
I love me
We used to
KB.
talk about KB up and down.
Yes.
When he was on this team.
Me and Adam started the KB hype train.
Yeah.
You feel me? Me and Adam started back in 2018, his rookie year, we started the KB hype train.
Yep.
But not at what it's going to cost you, because it's going to cost you Jauan Jennings.
For sure.
And no.
Unless you go after Kendrick Bourne if, say, Pittsburgh throws just a stupid amount of money at Jennings, and it's just like, okay, this is like generational type. My family is set for the next 5 generations. Then go for it, man. Then you go after Kendrick Bourne, but it's still a downgrade. It is a definite downgrade because as good as he was and as clutch as he could be at times, he's not even
hands.
Well, not only that, but I'm talking about his blocking and his physicality that Jennings has. Sorry, he does not have that.
Yeah, that mentality. The mentality. Love Kid, like I said, y'all know we love some KB, but yeah, I can't lose Jauan to go get KB. Now, would I be perfectly fine if we lost, Jauan, third and Chains, third and Jauan, whatever you want to call him, and we got KB back and kind of just said, hey, this is our consolation prize. Now we can go get BA. Now we can get Aziz. So, things of that nature. Well, then that's when another free agent that we still haven't got to that I want to get to. And there's a fuck no on here because regardless of how we feel, Kyle's not going to go for it. And we all know who that is on the screen right now. But, yeah, we already discussed Trent, Josh Johnson.
I'm for Trent. Could you imagine Trent Williams pulling and pulling and then blocking the same man that Trent Brown is blocking, heaven help. Man, have a moment of silence for that man.
Bro,
That man is
that's
going
like,
6 feet under.
bro, that's like six, almost probably 700
That's
pounds.
no, no, that's an easy 700 pounds of very strong, very fast man putting another man in the grave.
Like that's, whew, bruh. I don't know. I hope Kyle, because I've always been very confident that Lynch and Hand see the issues with this football team and they will address them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and it's an upgrade. It is a. I would love to see
Oh yeah,
Trent
I
Brown
mean,
play
Trent
guard.
Brown's an upgrade over Colton McKivitz.
And
bro.
then why couldn't? What if we? So we signed Trent Brown. Why couldn't we get Colton McKivitz inside? I would love to have him as a guard. I think he's an upgrade over Feliciano or Buford as guard in that
Burford,
position.
yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah, I would
probably
love
an
to see
upgrade over Burford.
McGivitz and then Trent Brown on your right side. I'm completely sold on that.
Yeah, Josh Johnson, I'm okay.
I would take him over Sam Darnold. Y'all know my hatred of Sam Darnold.
I would take him over Brandon Allen.
I wouldn't go that far just because we know what Josh Johnson is, and I think he's still better than Sam Darnold. We don't know about Brandon Allen. That's my biggest thing with Brandon Allen.
I think
is that
Cincy's
we don't
gonna
know.
throw some fucking ridiculous money at him, bro.
Especially because now Burrows has now been injured, a little bit more than often lately. So we'll see how that turns out. But they're definitely needing. Although their backup quarterback isn't that bad. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I know he played at UW. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he didn't play bad. So it's not like they necessarily need him, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't fill in for another team somewhere who runs a similar offense.
Yeah.
E-Man?
I don't think it's necessary. My
problem with E-Man.
Who's he taking snaps over? He's not taking snaps over Demo.
Nope. My problem with E-Man right now is that he's kind of turning into Jason Verrett at the moment. He came back for 2 plays and got hurt again this year. So, do we really want that in the building? I mean, then again, we've only signed Jason Verrett for the last 19 years in a row to get hurt. So maybe we do bring back Emmanuel Mosley. Right. So, but I mean, we've already got 1. Do we need 2 in the building like that?
That's what I'm saying. Kwan, I'm all for bringing back Kwan.
I'm completely for bringing back Kwan. Kwan Williams, I'm 100% on that.
Aziz or Kwan?
Aziz,
me too. But I would
just because, like I said, we play through our linebackers. We need that second linebacker so desperately. I don't think enough people are talking about how important that second linebacker is without Dre Greenlaw there. I think that is a real weakness on the team.
Let's be real. I think everybody could talk about the scheme and what the linebackers did and everything like that, but I think that's one of the biggest issues with run defense this year. Yeah. I don't think it was a D-line issue. I think it was a linebacker issue. Now, whether that was coaching, Kyle believes, because if it wasn't coaching based, Steve Wilkes would still have a job. Yeah. But it's clear that the linebacking, the run defense fell out of the level. I believe that you bring back K'Waun Williams, not only have you got a secondary that we were wrong, we thought would be a weakness of the team, was the strength of the team, or at least
damn good team.
Some parts.
Kick Demo back on the inside. Have Kwan go back outside, or would you keep Demo?
No, I would keep Demo outside and have Kwan play the nickel.
Gotcha.
And then honestly, I said it in the Green Bay game, and maybe my emotions were a little bit, but I said, hey, this ain't a championship secondary. More like Ambry isn't a championship secondary. This K'Waun Williams gives us you look at that and you say that's a championship secondary.
Yeah. You give us your best 3 against our 3, I'll take our 3. If we bring bring back K'Waun Williams, I will take us against any wide receiver duo or trio.
Overplay. You might get us 1 play, you might get us 2 play, but over the course, I'll put it to you this way. I'm a lot more confident that the fact that Patrick Mahomes ain't going 11 plays and 75 yards to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If you give me Aziz and K1 and you got Nick Bosa and obviously some draft guys,
The core.
I think we go. I don't even want to talk about Akello because regardless of however we feel like that, man, Akello ain't even fucking sniffing anywhere near the Niner facility as long as Kyle Shanahan's head coach.
He's weak mentally. Weak. Completely weak mentally. I say the same thing about Jalen Ramsey. If you're able to get into his head, done. You're completely done.
I think one of the best decisions we made as a franchise. You know what, Jason? I believe the Niners are better at not going after players than going after players. If that makes sense. I believe one of the players that it was ultimately the best decision that we made was not signing Jalen Ramsey.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy we did not.
Especially considering on where he went.
Yeah.
Because look, I'm not going to say Jalen Ramsey handed us games. Ultimately,
but he lost them games.
But I'm saying specifically handed us games. But you close your mind. What is the biggest play that comes to your mind when you think of Jalen Ramsey in the Rams uniform? Good or bad?
Wasn't he the one pushed over by Debo?
Yep. He was the one that got trucked the fuck over by Debo.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's the biggest play that stands out to me.
And he's had multiple plays like that in his career. It wasn't just Debo that did it. It's been even as a Niner, he got trucked.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's one of, but yeah, Ahkello Witherspoon ain't sniffing the Niners facility a day in his life ever again. The only time that he will sniff the Niners facility is if whatever team on him is a team that has the Niners facility in the Super Bowl. How weird would that be that we make it to Super Bowl 60, but yet we have to go outside of our own facility?
Yeah.
I think that's why they do that. I think what they do is that they have whatever team, like for example, Super Bowl, like this year, for example, it would be the NFC. That way, if New Orleans happens to be in the Super Bowl this year, that you don't have a situation where the home team is the team that actually is kicked out of their facility.
Yeah.
I think that would be an embarrassment to the NFL that you can have a situation where a team that literally has been in there all year, has been in this facility, has to go leave for 2 weeks and go to San Jose State or Stanford or wherever they would go. That's ridiculous. Probably Stanford, I would think. I believe that's where the Broncos were at in Super Bowl 50. I believe they were at Stanford. I believe that I believe the Panthers were out here in Santa Clara because if I'm not because I know for a fact Cam Newton went to La Vix. Now not the same location we took you to, but La Vix.
Yeah, but the other one,
Cam went the one that's right across the street from San Jose State from the college. But Cam went to La Vix. So same franchise that we took you to, just a different location.
Yeah.
Cam went because he had heard about the orange sauce. And so
the orange sauce is fucking delicious.
Bruh, Jason loved this orange sauce so much that my girl literally had to ship him a bottle to his house.
Yeah.
And apparently they do it all the time. Like we talked about it, they're like, oh, we do this shit all the time. People come in here and like their kids will leave to go to college and everything like that. And so their parents will ship them orange sauce, in college and stuff.
Shit was good, man. I ain't gonna lie.
And really, honestly, most people who are from here would tell you that ain't even our best burrito place.
Fair enough. But I'm going back for the sauce.
Hey, legitly, Brett, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to do this, Brett. We're going to do this. I'm going to take you. When we get you out here, win the Super Bowl, all that, we'll go to Iguanas and we'll get the Burritozilla. It's like a 5-pound burrito.
Try and finish it. I'm down.
This shit, hey, Brett, like I've had it before. This shit's legit, like fucking huge. Like me, the homie, and my baby mama all had to eat it. And still had
All right. So the last frame of the night is who's the DC? Um, I'm of the mind that at this point, it's not someone outside the organization. I think it's too late to bring it in because even if you bring in someone, say like a Bill Belichick tomorrow, there's going to be too much going on with because you've got to do the pageantry part of everything. You've got to parade them down or parade them around. You got to show them this, have them walk through the, you got to show them the 5 Super Bowl titles. You got to bring them to the field, put them out in front of the press. I think it's too late to do that with somebody completely brand new, which is why at this point I'm thinking it's someone new, or excuse me, someone who's on the inside. So with this list that I have up here, excuse me, I can almost, to me, you could take out Brandon Staley, who I really didn't want to begin with. I thought Bill Belichick was a long shot at best. Personally,
Eric doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, because Eric doesn't want to do it. I really wanted Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel has a very good record against Patrick Mahomes. So for whatever reason, he's the man against, Sprags was
we say it.
Sprags is the killer for Shanny. Vrabel is the killer for Mahomes. So that's why I was leaning towards him. I think it comes down to either Brian Bullock or not Bullock. Is it Bullock? Let me see.
Yeah, Bullock
or Johnny Holland. And I'm leaning more towards Bullock simply because as much as I think Johnny Holland kind of has paid his dues and he would be okay, DC, Bullock's younger. I could see him being more, what's the word I'm looking for? Gullible, if you will, towards what Shanahan wants, to where maybe Holland being, someone who's elder would stand up to Shanahan. So I think it's going to be Brian Bullock coming in as our DC, and it's got to be announced, this weekend? I mean, the Combine's on fucking Monday.
And that's the other thing about it too, is okay. I think it's going to be somebody eternal too, because Jeff Ulbrich was Tim Kamikawa's guest.
Mm-hmm.
That would be malpractice on the Jets' part for them to give us permission to take their DC, like you said, 3 days before the fucking Combine, unless they already have had these conversations and they've had somebody that they're like Robert Saleh saying, "Hey, I'll take over calling the defense, and we'll promote somebody within and give them the title of DC, even though I'll be the
DC.
I'll be the DC essentially." It's malpractice by the Jets for them to give us Jeff Ulbrich.
Not to mention,
I wanted Vrabel. I wanted Vrabel too.
NFL career, and in the history of the NFL, someone has made a lateral move like that, something like that. So,
I would want Vrabel, who's who I wanted too, because I believe you just simply have to gear up this defense to beat Patrick Mahomes until proven otherwise.
Yeah, right. We can take care of everybody else.
Yeah. It's the fact that if this defense would be good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes, then you don't have to worry about if you're not playing Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, because that defense would be good enough to stop any quarterback at that point. Exactly. So you have to gear your defense to stop Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, it's clear he's a Patrick Mahomes player. I wasn't as high on Belichick as much because I said this, and I looked it up, and Bill Walsh did not consult. He was in charge of the 99 draft, and ultimately it was Bill Walsh that made the decision to take Gino Kamamazi over Tom Brady. That was Bill Walsh who made that decision. I think ultimately when you look at the Patriots and shit, I mean, the Patriots have never really been that great at drafting, but I just feel like, I don't want to say he's done and everything like that, but I don't.
I think he's done in the fact that he's old. You know what I mean? That kind of.
And I feel that. I just feel that it might not be the blessing that everybody thinks it's going to be, and be careful what you wish for.
I think he'd be better as a consultant.
There you go. A defensive consultant, assistant head coach, things of that nature.
Yep.
Ultimately, the only thing that concerns me about whatever internal candidate we have is that Daniel Bullock and Johnny Holland, just specifically go with them, are both obviously experienced NFL coaches. So why weren't they good enough last year? Why did you have to go out?
Bennett was making the same point that if you didn't do it last year, why this year? They weren't ready last year. How many times have we seen just any player in general take a back seat, sit there and learn? Hell, that was what you did with quarterbacks for fucking the last 50 or so years. Yeah. You sat them and you waited for them to get better through practice and everything. Maybe Johnny Holland had never called plays before as a defensive coordinator type thing. So he had to learn how to call them. Same thing with Brian Bullock. He's never had that opportunity. Maybe he's learned under Wilkes how to call plays and stuff like that. So they would be rookie play callers. Doesn't mean they're not ready.
No, and that's fine. Ultimately, if you're not going to go with an established DC, which at this point, it's clear Kyle wants things done the way that they've been done. So you're giving you're behind the eight ball at that point, because regardless of how familiar somebody is with the system or whatever like that, there needs to be some type of an adjustment period.
Yeah.
And the clock's ticking, motherfucker. Let's go. I would just be more, just like I said, I'm just a little concerned on exactly what that means. Okay, so you weren't ready last year. You're ready this year. Okay, fine. Now, ultimately, I do think, like I said, tick, motherfucker, that becomes less of an issue, especially Johnny Holland. Like, oh, okay, the coach who's literally been Fred Warner's coach his whole career needs adjustment period to how to communicate with Fred. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's a little stretch.
So if you want the least amount of transitional period, yeah, probably going with Johnny Holland or Bullock would be probably the best least amount of transitional period that you need to go through.
Yeah.
So I still say, like, the only thing about it, I would put my money on it being, if it's from outside the organization, it being Jeff Ulbrich.
Yeah,
because
I still think
the only way I would see it taking this long and not being somebody external is they're trying to convince Robert Saleh to let him go.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're negotiating about, staff they can take or
yeah.
That's the only thing, because why else wouldn't you make it? You're already giving your new DC, who has not been in the organization, because none of these men are from within the organization. So you're giving your brand new DC a disadvantage from the jump, because you're giving them less time to assimilate into the culture, get to know Fred Warner, get to know,
Yeah, it's just too late in general.
So anything else, Jason?
No, that's all I had. I was going to put up general free agency, but I fell asleep trying to set everything up. So
Jason,
I will save that for a two-day show. Yeah, I'll save that for a two-day show
on
when
assignment.
I run solo.
Yeah, your boy's going to be off assignment. Do you want to, here, let me go ahead and do the reads. Christian, please give us a read, a good read. But make sure to go NinerFaithfulRadio.com, Power Brand Systems, get some leads for your business and help us, make some moolah. Go to CGiant.com, use the promo code NinerFaithfulRadio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Go to shop49ers.com. affiliate link in the description. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr and TikTok at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. To see everywhere you can subscribe to the podcast, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. We will officially do season 8 March 14th. Until then, I'll see you then. Well, I'll see you before then, bro, because we're gonna have meetings and shit like that. But
Next Friday. We can go on next Friday.
let me talk to wifey because I think we might have something next Friday. Because I made the idea of, we're not doing any more shows for the next couple weeks, babe. So I gotta talk to wifey about that.
I get it. You have to talk to the Senate.
Yep, the Senate and the House. All right, bro. We'll catch
All right,
you.
dude. Take care. All right, everybody. As usual, Faye Fatai, Tilly Lava, and One Love. We thank you for showing up to these things. Once again, TJ will be gone next, or will be off on Tuesday, so it's just going to be yours truly. Maybe I'll reach out, see if I get someone else, and we'll talk about the first couple of days of the Combine and potential free agents that are out there that could fit the 49ers going into that. So until next week or on Tuesdays, deuces.